Hi and welcome to Seekers. These videos are a chance just to explore some ideas about the nature of the world, God, existence and everything in between. I believe that those who seek are those who find. It's for those of us who are looking for something in life. Maybe you don't know what it is you're seeking, but there's a wanting for something more in life. But as we explore some thoughts about God, well, first we've got to ask some other questions. If we're going to ask the question, does God exist? Who is God? Who are we in the place of all these things? And so on and so on. Then before we do that, we need to know if there actually are answers to those questions. Otherwise, we'd be just wasting our time. So we should start with the concept of truth. Actually, when Jesus stood in front of Pontius Pilate, that very issue came up. Jesus said he came to bear witness to the truth, and Pilate responds with, "What is truth?" So questioning the nature of truth is by no means a new thing for us to do. How do we define truth? Does truth even exist? Because we live in a world where we can say, that's your truth. Which is a strange thing to say when you think about it. We aren't saying, well, that's just your opinion. We're saying something bigger than that. More like, that's your view or that's your reality. But truth? Can it really be so subjective? And this isn't a question that we've just had today or even back in the time of Jesus. It's something we've been asking for way longer. The Greek philosophers loved to explore the meaning of truth. Plato had a great definition. A true claim states things the way they are, and a false claim states things differently from the way they are. That's a good definition, I think. Truth, therefore, has to be based on something definite, or it's not truth. Also, you'd think, but that is challenged often today. Truth, by its very nature, can it actually be changeable or subjective? Surely, if it's truth, it has to be objective, fixed, despite anyone's opinions. Subjective truth is a personal reality, but does that make it actual reality? Truth can only be actual truth when it is objective, when it's fixed, or it can't really be called truth at all. Making something right or wrong the way a lawyer does doesn't actually change the truth, but just the perception of it. Perception can be wrong and people can believe it to be the truth, but that doesn't make it true. For example, for me to say my car is parked outside my house is not a subjective statement. It either is or it isn't. That can't be a matter of opinion. Now, you may be able to say, well, is it your car? You've not paid for it yet. Or is it even my house if I have a mortgage? Doesn't it belong to the bank? Well, yeah. If you were really picky, you could question that. But it's objectively true that the car I have a certificate of ownership for is outside the house that I have a certificate ownership for. That's not a matter of perception. That's not my truth. That's objective truth. Now, if you were to say, well, my truth is that your car isn't outside your house, well, what you'd be saying is not truth. It's a false claim. Now, if I was to say my car is the best car on my street, that would be subjective truth. That would be my truth. Well, actually, with my car it's closer to a lie, but it can't be objective reality. You get the idea. I think it may be very current to say that there's no such thing as ultimate truth. But that statement in itself denies itself, because it claims to be the actual truth of the situation. It is saying there's no absolutes, but it is itself an absolute claim. It actually disproves itself. And we have this real problem today When we fall out over things in society, both sides claiming to be truth, both denying the other, and it gets very easy to ask, like Pontius Pilate, what even is truth anyway? But some things are clearly objectively incorrect. The earth is either flat or it's round. It can't be both. One of them has to be true. Injecting bleach into your body will either heal you or kill you, but both answers cannot be true. Incidentally, it will kill you, don't do it. Opinion may be your truth. We all have a worldview that we see the world through, and to each and every one of us, that is our ultimate reality. But that can only ever be a subjective truth. But truth itself must be bigger than that. Now, why harp on about this? Well, it's vital we get this area sorted before we move on, because we must understand when we are talking about the big things in life, such as the existence of God, heaven, hell, the nature of the soul, the nature of existence, who we are as humans, we must understand there is an answer. Which means when it comes to faith, to say, well, that's okay for you, that's your truth, but it's not for me, it doesn't really cut it. That's actually something of a cop-out. And we can't approach this subject expecting there not to be an answer. Because there must be. Either God exists or he does not. It can't be both. And that answer matters. Now for me, and I hope for you in that case, it's an issue that therefore we need to decide on properly. Because the answer to that question is a big deal. Because it must be the ultimate question, not do I like the idea of religion? Do I find ethically some difficulties with this? Not what do I prefer as my opinion? The ultimate question has to be, is it true? What that answer is, whether that answer could ever be knowable to us, those are things we can discuss and explore, and we may well disagree on. But regardless, there is an answer. And this series of videos are for seekers of that answer. Now, clearly, I'm a preacher. My worldview will influence my opinions. But I want to, as openly and as honestly as possible, to explore these questions with you and to go on a journey together. Because it's my belief that knowing that the answer is there, seeking to answer it, matters a lot. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I hope it gives you lots to think about, and I hope you're open to going on this journey. And I hope we will find answers that you'll be open to as we explore.